Hey there, Soul Giants, it's Michelle here, and it's a creative expression video. Creative expressions are videos where I talk about finished objects, works in progress, life updates, stuff like that. It's kind of a conglomerate knitting crochet podcast style video. So before we get too far in it, I want to remind you that there are always chapter links on these videos, just in case you wanted to skip forward or go backwards or whatever. And I put, if there is a pattern used, I put that down below. If there's an exception to this, because there's one that I'm probably not going to directly link the pattern, and I'll explain why. When I get there, I'll put whatever I tell you I'm going to put there, right? Okay, so before we get going too much further, I want to remind you and invite you to hook that subscribe button, like the video, and leave some yarn in the comments. All right, yeah. So we're going to start with, first of all, let me tell you, I made notes. I wrote everything down so I don't have to move back and forth. I wonder if this will turn down anymore because, hello, no, that was a mood. Oh, I don't know. There we go. Mood thingy. Seriously, I don't know what it is about the lights there that just really, I tried moving it higher. I've tried different things, and it's just always, for some reason, the lighting affects my brain and like shuts my brain down. Very frustrating. So yeah, I've got this, and I'm going to show you stuff. So I do have finished objects. Oh, I forgot one. I'll be back. I love the magic of editing because, as far as you're concerned, I haven't gone anywhere. So, my daughter-in-law's birthday's coming, and I wasn't really planning on making things for people, but I didn't want to just send a card and nothing else. So I was looking for something quick I could make, and I found a pattern to a snake. It was a curvy bookmark, and I was like, that is so cool. I really like that. I want to make it. So I tried making it, and I finally got the first curve to work, and I was like, yes. And I kept messing up, and I was like, this is so ridiculous. I'm having so much problems with this. And so I went to my question that I asked that seems to magically give me answers, and I said, what would you have me do? As I pray, I'm like, what would you have me do? And I had an image of an L come to mind, and I was like, okay, I can do that. So I'm going to show you part of it before I show you the whole thing. So I knitted straight along here, and then I put the curve. I followed some of the same things, only I went until it could go up. And so I have this L. It's a bookmark, and yeah, it's floppy, but it will just be great for setting in your book. It's with sock yarn, so it's nice and thin. And so then I was like, okay, well, I want it to have eyes. And so I went to the craft store looking for, I didn't want to glue them on. I didn't want the risk of them falling off. So I wanted to find buttons, and I could. But while I was there, I saw something, and I was like, perfection. So I found little sunglasses. It's a little sunglasses button. So this bookworm has sunglasses. And then the book, you can have it so that that's right at the top, so it pokes out at the top of your pages. And then this goes down into your page. I'm really excited about this. Do I have a... What is this book? Oh, Hidden Treasures. It's a good book by Leslie Householder. Actually, I'm friends with her sister-in-law long before I ever heard of Leslie, so that was kind of cool. But anyway, I can set it inside the book, close the book. Let's see, I can even pull it down a little bit further so his little eyes poke out. And then his little eyes are going to poke out at the top of the book. So I'm really excited about that and setting that, and that was really fun to make. So yeah, I finished that. I'm really excited to get that in the mail to her so that she can get it for her birthday. That was really fun to come up with. The other finished object is I finally finished another seahorse. This seahorse has basically been done. If this gets blocked or sewed onto things, you can curl the tail around. Right now it hangs in a curly Q, which I think is just fun. But I finally got the face put on there. So now I need to find, there are 2 others finished. I need to find those so they can get put together. So I'm excited to have that done. It was one of those things that I'm putting that face on today. That's all it was left. It was putting on a face and sewing in the things. So I did that yesterday, the day before. I just took a moment and sat down and made myself do it. So those are my finished objects. I have a nearly finished object that I'll talk about in a second. Before I show you my works in progress, I'm going to tell you to go to 2 other videos. So on Tuesdays, I am updating you on my mosaic crochet. It's overlay mosaic crochet. It's a blanket that I'm doing. It's all the information is going to be in that video. It is a crochet along, and I am working alongside of one of my subscribers who said, hey, will you do this with me? And so I've been doing it, and I'm giving it as a gift. So if you want to go see that and the progress I have made on that, I am probably, considering there's a border as well, I would say when finished with this one, I might be halfway. I don't know. I've heard that border can take a long time to put on. So we'll see. But those updates, those come out on Tuesday. So if you want to go see those, go to Tuesday. I will link the last one up. Yeah, this side up here. I will put it up here. I will also link the last one in the description below. The other ones, we are now in September. So for things we're making Thursday, we are working on shawls and wraps for this month. Technically it's just shawls, but in my mind, shawls cover wraps. They're like the same concept. So I am working on a wrap for a friend. And so for the month of September, if I get it done or not get it done, my updates on that will be showed there and only there. So if you want to see what's happening on that, check back next Thursday, this coming Thursday, to see what that looks like and how far I am, how that's going, what pattern I'm using, all that kind of stuff. So then let's start in on our things. Now, this next little section is considered my knitting whips. These are all things I have been knitting on, am knitting on, all that things. Which, by the way, this is a knitting pattern, but totally doable in crochet. And if you know how to crochet. And then this is a crochet pattern, super cute crochet pattern, which, by the way, this is done with short rows. So if you are a crocheter, you can start out here and then you would do short rows to get back to get your turn there, if you know how to do them. If not, then I don't know. I've only used crochet short rows a few times, but anyway. So knitting, one of my first things on my list is my tithing hat. Every Sunday I work on 2 projects. I work on my temperature socks, where I look at what the high for the last week was, and that is the color for my stripe. And then when those are done, the rest of my crochet knitting yarn journey day is for my tithing hats. Tithing hats are the hats that I make to give to the homeless. It just a day I set aside for that donation work. Now, if I were making a Boggy Creek blanket, like last year I wanted to make a Boggy Creek blanket. This year I'm just like, it's just not calling to me right now. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm working on blankets or something. I don't know. But it's not calling to me, so I haven't done anything with it, and that's okay. I know sometimes there are other calls for crochet and knit items, and to me it doesn't matter what you're making, and you don't even have to do this. It's just for me. It's something I choose. I have a neighbor who she boils eggs every week for the homeless in our area. She takes like cardboard egg cartons and cuts them so that she can put 4 boiled eggs, hands them out to the people, so they get 4 boiled eggs. Well, because she's consistently going over and handing the stuff out, she's the perfect person to hand my tithing hats to, so that they can get passed out to the homeless. So that is my tithing project. Now, this is my current one, and I did not get very far on this. What I have learned in doing this is that although it is very cool to have 3 yarns going around, it is slow. So what I have here is, it's kind of hard to see. In person it's a little more obvious, but not to the point where somebody's going to look at that and go, oh, there's 2 yarns there. I have 2 different blues. One's a little slightly darker, one's slightly brighter. But I have 2 blue yarns going around, and then the orange yarn. And so I'm just working up in what's called helical knitting. If I continue to do helical knitting, like for my next hat, I probably will just do 2 stripes. But I thought it was fun. It's a great way for me to use. These are, for the most part, Caron Simply Soft or similar. So there is yarns from Hobby Lobby that are similar to the Caron Simply Soft. So it's that they're considered a 4-weight acrylic, but to me, they are more like a 3-weight acrylic. They tend to be a little bit on the softer side, especially in the beginning when they first came out. It was like, oh my gosh, this is so soft. Now there's so many soft acrylics that I don't necessarily think that they're that much softer than anything else. I definitely have brand preferences on that kind of thing. The Hobby Lobby brand, in my opinion, is way too splitty. But that's just another story. Anyway, so yeah, that's how far I've gotten. I hope to get this done this coming Sunday. We'll see. So that's fun. That's my tithing project. Kept in a fancy bag. Next on my list is my nearly finished project. For the tithing hat, I don't have a pattern. And part of the reason I don't have a pattern is because I just cast on so many, work up to a point, and then decrease until I get it done. I don't follow a pattern. I just, in the beginning of learning hats, I kind of learned some formulas. I follow that, just go, and I don't even know. This one here, I'm going to be, I'm going to put my Ravelry project page on it because I used 2 different patterns. I used one pattern for the center out. I have some notes about where I changed and what I did, and then I did a different lace pattern on the outside. So this is what I've got so far. It looks like a fancy doily. So it's like that. It's a really fun little doily. But it's not a doily. So I wear my hair up a lot. Right now it's just in a braid, but sometimes I wear my hair in a bun frequently, and I'm like, I just want to do something different. So my plan is to put elastic all around in here so that pulls it into a little thing, and I'm calling it a bun bonnet. and then it will be able to put it over the bun, and so it will have a little fancy little lace thing, but also, you know, it will cover the bun and stuff. I would still need to probably have a couple of hair bobby pins, mostly to hold this on. I think that it would eliminate a lot of the need for bobby pins, but I don't know, I haven't actually tried it yet. So next week this 100% should be done. I'll wear my hair in a bun for doing the at least pictures, so that you guys can see what it looks like on. So I'm really excited about this, especially because it is seriously so close. I just have to figure out where my elastic that I'm planning to use is, which I also need for another project. So another knitting project is something that I'm making for myself. I decided to make myself helical socks, so this is how far I am on those. This is definitely a little bit of a problem because I'm doing 2 at a time, so I've got 6 strings coming out because I've got my 3 colors. So these are Hobie cottons. I know that a lot of people say 100% cotton, don't use them for socks. I actually don't mind mine. If I wear them more than one day, these stretch out. I don't normally wear them outside, but it's usually because they're a little bit thicker, and so they don't fit in my shoes. But sometimes I wear them because I like them. And then just like a pair of jeans, how they like jeans kind of stretch out while you wear them, but then when you wash them again, they're back to being thin. That's how I find cotton socks to be. So people have their complaints, that's fine, it's theirs. These are my socks, they're for me. So I have this really pretty green color, which is called Petrol. I have this rose color, which is called Old Dusty Rose, I believe. And then this like natural white, off-white color. And so some of them are, a couple of them are the Mayflower cotton, some of them is Hobie cotton, but it's all one weight, 100% cotton. So I'm happy with it, and I'm excited to have another pair of socks because it's been a while since I've been doing some actual sock knitting besides my temperature socks. So I'm really excited to bring these into my world. And another thing that I'm making, which of course I will leave the pattern. For the helical socks, I do not have a pattern for that. I just follow my typical how I do my toes. I kind of follow the Fish Lips Kiss Hill, which gives me a foot pattern with some lines on it, so that I know how far up. So I cast on my heel how I want, follow her directions to know when you've got your toe the right size. And follow her directions to know I know I knit it to this line that has an arrow. And then I start my heel and I follow the Fish Lips Kiss Hill. So that's how I do it. I like the Fish Lips Kiss Hill. Not everybody will. It is a form of short rope. But I think there's valuable information even if you're not doing it, and it's like $2.50. I think I got it when it was $1. But so this here is a produce bag I'm making, a reusable produce bag. So I swear this is taking forever to make. I don't know why. It just seems like, I'm like, did it grow? Has it grown any? I know it's grown some. I can fit some things in there. So yeah, and keep working this. I'm using the crochet thread, size 10 crochet thread, and I don't know what size needles these are. Fairly average knitting needles for worsted weight. Just to make this knitting pattern, and I'm really excited to get that. I'm hoping that it will be really close to a finished object next time. If not finished, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. one more knitting project, and then I will move on to crochet. So in this bag, I have the 3 panels to my granddaughter's sweater. I have finished this bottom ribbing. That's just a 2x2 ribbing across the bottom with some different stitches on the edges, which I know are not coming through as different really on because of the kind of yarn it is. They're not really reading differently here. I don't care. It's still, you know, it's gonna look how it's gonna look. But I have done the setup row for the cables. I know marled yarn is not ideal in cables. It is what it is. It's the yarn I have. It's the pattern I chose. It will still look pretty even if the cables don't read as nicely as they would read on a plain round or plain yarn. It's just what it is, and it's okay. I'm really excited to be making this. I'm really excited that I made some progress on it, and then I've gotten to the point where now I get to figure out how to do all the cables and learn new stitches. And I have done cables before, so it's not going to be too weird, but is going to keep my brain somewhat interested, I guess, because one of the little cable sections is like a 4-row repeat, and another cable section is like a 8-row repeat, and then another section is like a different repeat, and there's like 4 different types of cable situations going on across this thing. There's a 16-row one, an 8-row one, a 4-row one, 2-row one, at least that. So 2-row, stitches, 16 stitches. The cables are worked over 16 stitches. Cables worked over 8 stitches, cables worked over 4 stitches, and cables worked over 2. I know that there's at least that. And then I also have to remember to do my buttonholes as we go up, so then we'll see how this goes. Anyway, so that's my knitting, and I'm excited. So for crochet, the wrap I'm doing for Thursdays is crochet. The mosaic overlay crochet is crochet. That's for Tuesdays. That's a lot of crochet already. My arm gets very tired. I was doing quite a few rows on the blanket for Tuesdays. Now my goal is to try to do 2 rows a day. Sometimes I do 3 because my arm is so not liking me crocheting that much. So I gotta be really careful. It's hard to overlay mosaic crochet is even harder on my arm than regular because of how it's done. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It just means that I have to keep my crochet projects on the down low, so most of my projects are knit. That's what I had to say. So one of my crochet projects is in the littler bag. And this is how far I have gotten on this one. I had been knitting, it just wasn't turned out right. But however, let me just tell you. Okay, I have this here used up, I guess it was just one of the balls. This used up a good portion of what I used for knitting. Where did this end? Okay, I turned this one inside out. See where these are? That part up there, plus this, was how much yarn I used to knit the sock or the slipper, which then turned out not to work for my daughter. Like seriously. That's a lot more yarn. When they say that crochet uses up more yarn, they're not kidding. But this is how far I've gotten. So I'm going to be getting this one to this point as well. And because I did have 2 balls of yarn, I did work them both so that I could make sure I did my toe increases the same. And then I will work up the foot of this. And then the next plan will be I'm going to weave in all of these ends that I have hanging out. And then I will be working an edge or 2 around this way, in which I will also be working over an elastic to help just kind of cinch this to help it hold onto the foot better. And then somewhere, I've got to figure out where I put them. I have some really cute pom-pom things that go on this. These are, I'm going to put the picture up here, one of the sides, wherever it fits best in the video. These are kind of inspired by Tinkerbell's twin sister, Periwinkle. It really bothers me they call her Periwinkle because this is not Periwinkle. This is a dusty ocean blue. She wears basically ocean blues. Periwinkle is more of the purpley blue. This is more of a greenish blue. Okay, whatever. It's just silly color names. But anyway, so I'm working on the slippers. I'm excited to get those done for my daughter, especially as we are moving into fall. So the weather is starting to do some shifts. We're getting to that time of year where it's hot during the day and cold at night. So that's fun. And then I have one other crochet project. Let me tell you, I will start out with sharing you like a little acquisition here. One of my neighbors said, hey, there's some yarn I have. I actually don't like working with it. Would you like working with it? Now, I guess for her it's too splitty, and I kind of understand. She calls it stringy. I kind of understand that because it can be, but I actually like working with it, and I know that Shannon likes working with it. Let me pull up one of these skeins so you can see what kind of yarn we're talking about. Big Twist from Joann's. Okay. It is from Joann's, right? Yeah. Anyway, so she sent me, or got me, these Ziploc bags. Here's one with a bunch of Big Twist in it. Here's another with a bunch of Big Twists in it. So you can see this one here has got some of the split things. I can't remember what that's called. I know that one of the bags had one that I was kind of thought was fun to see. There's a little bit here that's got some sparkle in it. So she sent over this yarn and I was like, wow, that's a lot of random yarn. Cool. I can make amigurumis with it. I can do a lot of things with it. I also, if you don't know, Juniper and Oaks, who does the overlay mosaic that I'm doing on Tuesdays, she has a crochet along that's coming out. I'm trying to figure out if I can participate in it because I want to so bad, but it's trying to figure out what kind of yarn I would use because I really can't go out and buy yarn right now. But a part of that came out with doing a reversible overlay mosaic with using a negative stitch. And it was like, that's cool. I want to try that. So I will also tell you, I sleep on the floor. It's a choice. I have a mosquito net tent that I sleep in on the floor. Before a few years ago, in 2019, I had tried it. I tried sleeping on the floor to see if I liked it. It took a few days before I could sleep well, but I was willing to give it a try because of things that I'd heard, and I had a lot less problems with my back because of doing that. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Then I broke my knee. And I was like, yeah, no. Then I wanted to do it again, but we have mice, and I was like, I don't want to sleep on the floor with mice. Like, that's just asking for trouble. Like, sleeping in a bed knowing there's mice around, still there's a creep factor there. But so I got myself this tent that I sleep in. My daughter actually has a tent that she puts on her bed because she has some traumatic experiences with mice in her bed, and so she was having a hard time sleeping, so this helps her sleep better because, yeah. Anyway, so I sleep on the floor, and it's been okay, but I need something. I sleep on a couple blankets, and I need something more because we're moving into the cold months, and I know that that's going to be part of my problem. If I wasn't allergic to wool, I would invest in a wool blanket or a wool mat of some kind to put on the floor. Because I am allergic to wool, I am not going to pay a lot of money for alpaca or to make something out of alpaca to put on the floor. I decided, since I've got all this big twist yarn, I'm going to make myself a sleeping mat that I will put out on the floor. I'd prefer to sleep on something that is all natural, but I will take what I've got right now and sleep on the alpaca or the acrylic. So I took a couple of the balls of that yarn and I started. It's very long because I don't want to do a border. I just want to leave ties at both ends. And I'm going to have the ties at my feet and my head. So I needed this to be bigger than me. So I don't know how wide this is. Fold it in half. I put the two halves together and go like this. It's probably gonna be 6.5 feet long. I would guess, like I haven't measured it and stuff. But I am trying. So this is the front side. And I've been following the second yellow section from the overlay mosaic. I spent a while looking for different patterns, thinking if I could take other kinds of patterns and make them, and I was just like, I'm just going to use that one. And then this is the back side, so I'm practicing the negative stitch. So it creates a pattern on the back as well as the front. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Because it's doing that, it also has areas where there are 2 layers of crochet. So it's going to give it a little bit extra warmth, I guess you could say, because it's going to have 2 layers. And so my goal is at least, this is where I'm at halfway through a row, my goal is at least half of a row a day until I finish the overlay mosaic crochet blanket, and then I'm going to try to work on this even more so that I can have it. Now, my plan is to make it scrappy, basically. I'm working my 3rd row of this green, and I'm trying to decide. This is how much green I have on the ball. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to work just the 3 rows or if I want to do a 4th row and do every 4 rows change things. I don't know. Anyway, right now what I just did is I grabbed a light one and a dark one, a light color and a dark color. So I grabbed the green and a purple, and then when I finish my 3 or 4 rows of each color, I will go through and I will pick out another, say, light color and dark color. And I don't know which ones I'll use. And I'm just going to do 3 or 4 rows of each color, however much I decide when I finish my green. I might stop at 3. I might say, nope, I'm going to do 4. And I'm just going to do 3 or 4 light and dark, switch my colors, 3 or 4 light, dark, switch my colors. And just do a scrappy. It's something I'm going to be sleeping on. It may turn out looking cool. It may turn out looking ugly. It doesn't matter because, like I said, it's just something for me to sleep on. So that is my other project, my sleep mat. And you just learned something random about me. I sleep on the floor. And actually, my knee, even though I still have problems with my knee, I have less problems with my knee now that I've been sleeping on the floor than I was before. There's just something about having the hard surface underneath that causes the muscles to do like activations differently to keep yourself, I don't know, there's just something different about it. All right, looking at my thing, and before we move on, I have an invitation. I have a membership program. It's like Patreon, but I'm using the platform Ko-fi, where when I get my mystery yarn challenge stuff, I will be putting updates. You'll get previews of everything I'm making. I will involve my members in the decisions, like, hey, I got these colors. What do you think I should make with them? That kind of thing. You get to, if you are just a YouTube subscriber, you'll see my unboxing video and you'll see my reveal video. However, in my membership, there will be an option for seeing pictures, sometimes videos of my progress along the way. So that's one of the things that is going to be down below, that if you want to come the lowest membership is $2 a month. For $2 a month, you get to do that. There's other perks and stuff you can go check out to see if you like the perks or not. And then the other thing that I have going is yarn parties. They're basically online crochet knit groups. Because I am allergic to wool, I don't want to do in-person ones as much as I want to. It's just a little risky for me. A lot of the ones that I could get involved with are held in yarn stores, which definitely are risky for me. Just even visiting them, I come out sneezing because of the wool in the air. So the yarn parties. Right now, the yarn party is from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Wednesdays. And I know some people are at work, and that's fine. It's just what it is right now. I'm not available in the evenings to do this because I have kids that I'm taking to and from work and stuff. And so it's my time I'm available. And so if you want to come join us and be a part of this party, I would love it. It's free. You just send me an email and say, hey, I would love to be a part of your party. I will put you on my little list where I send a blind carbon copy, so you don't see who else gets the email. And it has the link for the day. And so I will send that out, and you'll get to come to the party. You'll get the link for the party, and you can come crochet with us and knit with us, talk with us, get to know people. So that's one of the things. And so I wanted to invite you to that. So send me an email for that, and join my membership if you want other perks. All right. So now let's talk about something. Selfish knits, selfish crochet. Why is it we use the term selfish? In the sewing world, if you are a seamstress and you make your own clothes, everybody's like, oh, that's so cool. No, I haven't really heard anybody ever say to me, or haven't really heard people in the sewing world talk about this, where it's like, oh, you made your own clothes? That's very selfish of you. Like, you should be making them for gifts. You should be doing this. Like, for whatever reason, I mean, people will tell them, oh, you should sell that. That's kind of a given across all the craft world. You should sell that. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother conversation. Selfish knits, though. For some reason, in the knitting world and in the crochet world, you're being selfish if you take time to make something for yourself. What? Why? No, that is so insane. Yes, I could sew myself a dress. And if I'm using a sewing machine, I could probably make a dress start to finish in a day or two. Fine. Maybe. But also, It takes a long time to cut stuff out. If I don't have a great setup, it may take longer. If I don't have a lot of time, it's going to take me a week or two to get that thing made. But for whatever reason, when it comes to sewing, it's all cool. Make your own clothes. Awesome. Go you. Go you. Oh, you knit your own clothes? Now, there are people that are like, oh, that's really cool. They like the craft and stuff. But there's just this underlying concept within the yarny world that if you are crocheting or knitting for yourself, you're being selfish. And I don't know if it's because it takes so long sometimes to make things or what it is. I don't understand it. I really don't. So I want to encourage everybody out there to stop calling it selfish. Stop calling it selfish. As soon as my knitting needles are here, I have this beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's such a pretty color. It's this gorgeous color. It's called Irish Rain. It is a soft DK, 100% low pill fiber, acrylic. I don't love that it's acrylic, but it's so pretty, and it was affordable. $4.99, except for I'm sure I got it on sale. So I've got this pretty yarn. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the knitting needles I ordered to get here, and then I'm going to be starting working on that. Probably the day this comes out. I don't know what day my knitting needles are coming. I need to look at that. Anyway, as soon as I've got them, casting on. And I'm not calling it a selfish knit, ever. I'm never going to call it that, because that's not what it is. I'm calling it a self-care knit. I don't even care if all you ever do is make stuff for yourself. Now, most of us crocheters and knitters, we're constantly making for other people. That's just kind of how we're wired. We like to make things and give them away. That's just the way it is. So, like, I'm making the blanket that I show on Tuesdays. I'm giving that to a friend. I'm making my granddaughter's sweater that I'm, giving away. Both of these are things for other people. Like, I do have stuff. My socks are for me. I have, on the other hand, made socks for one year I made like 16, 17 pairs of socks, and none of them were for myself. That's just, I make a lot of things for a lot of people. I have my tithing hats that I make to donate. And when I made my snake here, this was my temperature snake I made for me. I also made 2 snakes that I give away to my grandkids. So, we give away. But I have heard, I don't know that I really hear it so much in the crochet world, but I know it exists. The concept is there. This idea that if you're making it for yourself, if you're taking all that time and effort, because it does take a long time, like to knit myself a sweater is going to take a long time. It's going to be a big project. It's going to be a great project. I've loved it. This took a long time to make, and I love it. I mean, like, you're not going to wear it, but it's fun decoration. This took a long time, and I love it. There are things that I do because they light me up. They're my self-care knits. I want to have those beautiful sweaters to wear. I want to make myself a cardigan. I've never made myself a cardigan. I have a couple of cardigans. I have like 3. I love wearing them. I haven't made a single one. So I want to make myself a cardigan. I want to get really nice things and make myself things. And I don't want to call them selfish. I want them to be called self-care. One of the things I love about Shannon of Another Yarn is that she will make stuff for herself, and then she'll wear it and she'll walk around like, yeah, I made this. Yeah, I made this. And I think that's awesome. I think that there is nothing wrong with that. People who don't have kids, I've seen, will make themselves stuff and they don't call it selfish because they are just making for themselves. But there's something about it. I don't think that it's about crafting. I don't think it's about being a seamstress or a crocheter or a knitter. I think it's a weird mom subculture or weird mom belief. I know that watching my mom and my aunts, they would make sure their kids had clothes. They made sure their kids had all the things they needed, and then maybe they would get something for themselves. But like, they could be wearing rags, but as long as their kids were clothed, they were okay. I think that it's something to do with that kind of idea of you think about yourself last. And I understand that I don't have a lot of money. So right now, as my son's got a job and we're getting a slightly more, and I still have things that aren't paid and stuff, but like, yes, I actually need some clothes, but my 15-year-old son also needs some clothes. He'll get his first because he's outgrowing his, and mine are more of my things are kind of wearing out, but they're still technically wearable. So, but I'm also not going to not get me stuff. Whereas my mom and my aunt would never get them stuff. Now, I know that this isn't the case for everybody. I know that this is part of our culture here in Utah. There's a lot of factors, but so I think there's a lot of culture things. So not everybody's gonna resonate with this idea. There are some people that they just like everything they knit or crochet is for themselves because they're like, that's what I want to do. And they just have the idea of like, yeah, that's what I'm doing, that's okay, and whatever. And there are some people who just, the idea of making for themselves, they're like, no way, I can't make for myself. So I just want to encourage us to consider it as self-care. Stop calling it a selfish knit. I don't ever want to hear that again. And if I hear that again, or if I'm watching a video and somebody calls it a selfish knit, I'm just going to say, hey, would you mind considering rewording that to a self-care knit? Let's stop calling it selfish knit. So that's kind of one of my things, is we're going to call them self-care. And if you don't ever call it selfish and you're like, why would anybody call it selfish? Then that message wasn't for you. But if you never make yourself something, why not? Why don't you make yourself something? I like to have a balance of things. I like to always have at least one project on either knit or crochet for myself. Like right now I have a pair of socks and I have my mat that is for me, and I'm finishing up my hair bonnet. After I finish my bun bonnet, I'm making myself a snood. I'm really excited about that. So that is going to be one of the things. I'm probably also going to make something to match my helical socks. It's going to be like a snood or something. And then I'm going to be starting my sweater, so I'm going to have a couple things. So I have a few things going. But I also, as you've seen, I have a lot of projects. But if I was a I don't know why you call it monogamous, because that really means married to one person. So are you just married to that one project? I mean, I guess I can call it that. I think there should be a different word for it. Like, what is the Latin word for project? And it's like monaga project, whatever the project is. So, but there are some people that they literally only work on one thing. Shannon and I cannot comprehend this. Like, if you watch Shannon of Another Yarn, she's got billions of things going on too, and she just picks up whatever makes her happy. For the most part, I just pick up whatever makes me happy. However, I do have things like this that it's like, this is for Christmas. It is going to be shipped, so I have to have it done by Thanksgiving. So as we get close to it, I might. When I made this, I started it one day and I was like, I couldn't figure it out. The next day, it became like my main thing, and it's pretty much all I worked on that day was to get this done, because I need to send it out this week. I need to get it in the mail probably later today. And then But there are people, I'm like, what was I saying? There are people that literally, they're like, I can work on one project at a time. If you're one project at a time person, you can still make yourself something. Make that one project, and then at least once or twice a year, have your one project be for yourself. I have a friend that almost everything she makes is to give away. And then she's like, I should make myself something. But then she rarely does. Every once in a while she will. But she also seems to have this level of guilt for making it for herself, which is a part of why I want to call it a self-care. What are you doing, knitting or crocheting, that's self-care for yourself? To give yourself something to beautify your home, or something you can wear, or something that you can delight in, that you get to keep. And it doesn't mean you can't also make things to give away. Okay, I'm done rambling about that. I wanted to talk a little bit about life updates. There's not a lot going on in my life right now. Still figuring out the balance with school and taking kids to work and trying to figure out when to get my daughter a job and all that kind of stuff. That's still going on. I have joined the Clutterbug. If you don't know your Clutterbug style, figure it out. It's really fun. I've been following her declutter challenge she has going for September. I think it's really cool. I have gone through stuff and I've acknowledged, every time I pull out this shirt, she had a closet one, and she's like, pay attention to the messages your clothes are sending you. And I'm like, every time I pull out this shirt, because it got little holes right at the bottom from when I was wearing jeans, which I don't do anymore, but it was getting the holes, and so it was kind of raggedy, and I would keep it because I loved the color, but I was like, it's so raggedy. And every time I'd wear it, it really bugged me. And I was like, I love the color. I love the color on me. It's got the holes. So I finally let them go. And I don't need those in my closet anymore. And I finally, today was a sock drawer one, and I finally let go of something. You know what? Let me tell you. Today's challenge was to go through your underwear and your socks. And let go of things that way. Well, I keep up on my underwear, and so that's not a problem. If it's broken, I throw it away. I don't have a problem with that. But one of the things I had in that drawer were masks. Remember masks 2020? I was like, I've kept them just in case. And I still kept some, because I'm like, you never know. There's been times this last year when a kid's had a pretty bad cough, and I know what the world's like, so I'm like, here, we need to go to the store. I'm just going to have you wear it because you're coughing, but you need to come with me. So, yeah. So I've kept masks. But what I did to declutter them today was I went through and I was like, there are 6 people in this house. We only need 6 masks. I did keep 2 extra because I was like, if I have to wear a mask, this one's really pretty and this one's really pretty. I hate these ones. So I did go through and I was like, if masks come back, I've got fabric scraps. I can make some. I can make myself a mask if I need to. So yeah, I went through, I did that. Tossed those. I was excited. I also went through my socks and said, I have been keeping these mismatched socks in hopes that the match would show up, because I really like these socks. But the reality is, every time I see those, I just get frustrated, and I don't need to be frustrated anymore. So I finally got rid of them. And if for some miraculous reason that match does show up, I'll just have to toss that one too. So that's one of the things I've been doing. But oh my gosh, guys, seriously, it's not what I need. I appreciate that, I went through my clothes again and all these things. The things that she's having us do make sense for most people, but that's not what I need help with. I need to tackle the laundry room that's still got stuff from my mom, that I need somebody to challenge me to be like, okay, go in and do a box today. Not, hey, we're going to do a challenge. Go to this part of your house and get rid of these things. I understand why she's doing it, and I understand the benefits of it, but it's not what I needed. So I'm a little frustrated with that. And I don't know how to fix that for free. I just need somebody accountable, I guess. I don't know. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, there's a book. What is the name of the book? I took it out in the other room. Something about keeping house while you're drowning. I will find a picture of it and put it up on the screen somewhere. I have been reading through this book. It's hard to read because it's actually so tiny. Like, she's talking in the beginning. I've made this book accessible because we used a font that is easy for the eye to understand. We used bolds and all these things for the neurodivergent. And then it is on bright white paper. And tiny. To where even wearing my glasses, I can't read it. And I'm like, the irony, you made it accessible to everybody except for people who have bad eyesight. Anyway, I've been reading the book. One of the things that I like that she has in there and that I wanted to talk about, which is kind of like with the self-care versus selfishness, is the idea of kind of reframing some things, like, oh, I want to go do the dishes. To really think about, why is it that you need to do the dishes? Like, what is it that, like, if you can think about the why. Well, when the dishes are clean, then it's easier for me to make dinner, and it will help me make dinner. Thinking about, okay, this is going to help me make dinner, might give me a little more motivation to get started and getting them done. I put my clothes away because then it's easier to figure them out and find them when I need them. I found that I was able to finally get myself to clean my bathroom, which I had been putting off, because I reminded myself that if I clean my bathroom, we're going to have less germs. There's just something about reframing things and finding your whys, and those are some of the things she calls the tasks, self-care tasks versus chores. I find it weird to call them self-care tasks, and so I'm not going to call them that. But, you know, you got to figure out what works for you. If you are triggered by the word chores, change the word chores. Same goes with the budget. If you are triggered by the concept of a budget, try calling it a spending plan, or creating an envelope system where it's like, this isn't a budget, this is an envelope system where I know this is my envelope, and if there's money in it, I can spend it. You know, you got to work with your own brain. You got to reword things. So that's kind of what I have been doing, what I wanted to share with you. I know that I have been talking for a very, very long time. I need to go drink some water. Why? Because my throat is dehydrated. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. All the things, all my life. Remember, guys, we hold up this guy and this guy. Except for I'm going to hold his little L part here because it likes to fall over. Remember to let your light shine through your creations, whatever they be, crochet, knit, whatever you do. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!